Good evening, y'all. It is Jay Rene of Hip Hop Humanism and Prison Riot Radio. I hope that you're doing well. This evening, we have Dr. Candace Brewer on the line. She is a social activist and a lot more than that. So we're going to talk to her about her organizations, the things that she does in the fight, why she's in the fight, and we're going to talk a little more specifically about one particular case. How you doing there, Queen? I'm glad you made it with us.
Peace and blessings. I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah, 100%. Thank you for being here. So we're going to jump right into it. Please tell the people a little bit about yourself and where you're from.
Well, my name is Dr. Candace Brewer. I'm a civil rights activist and social justice activist. I've been advocating on behalf of the people for the last 19 years. My home office is in Greenville, South Carolina, but we advocate for the people all over the nation.
Right. 19 years is a long time to be in this type of service. I definitely thank you for your dedication and perseverance through that. You know, that definitely takes a lot. So let's just jump right into it. What made you, want to get into social justice and to fight for others?
Well, back in 2003, I have a brother. His name is Andre Roseman. Him and his best friend, Raja Lors, they were both murdered. It will be 19 years this coming November. They were murdered in their home in Greenville, South Carolina, and it's still an unsolved double homicide. So I started advocating against gun violence back then. Not that I want to take away anyone's rights to carry a weapon. I just want to make sure that the ones that are carrying the weapons are responsible gun owners. So I've been advocating since 2003 for gun violence, just trying to make sure that we get this case solved, and not only that case, but there's so many other unsolved homicides as well. I've also lost 12 family members to gun violence, one to police violence. So this is why I fight. This is why I'm out boots on the ground every day.
All right. Well, definitely our condolences for the loss that you and your family experienced. That's a lot. And
Thank you.
I can definitely understand and relate to the motivation that comes with that. So I know that you have a few organizations, like you say, you're out of South Carolina, but please tell us more about your organizations and what they do.
So one of my organizations is called POST, P-O-S-T, and that stands for Protect Our Stolen Treasures. We are the South Carolina chapter of POST. I am the CEO's president of POST. And basically, POST, we advocate against gun violence and for police accountability. We mostly take care of South Carolina, but if we get calls from different areas of the nation, we'll go out and we'll help those communities as well. We actually have 6 other chapters in different parts of the world, and majority of the people, I'm going to say maybe 80% of the people on our team are ones that has lost someone to police violence. And it's not that we hate the police, we just want them held accountable like they hold us accountable. So we advocate for police accountability. The other organization is the National Racial Justice Network. I joined them the latter part of last year, and I'm their national president. So with the racial justice, we fight against any type of racial justice on racial discrimination, fight for police accountability against gun violence. We basically, in both organizations, we basically just meet the needs of the community. So we don't just say that we're just doing gun violence or we're doing police violence or homelessness or prison advocacy. Wherever there's a need, we're going to show up and we're going to meet the need of the community.
Wow. You definitely got your hands full, and you definitely doing a lot. The people appreciate that. I can guarantee you. What keeps you motivated through it all? Because I know, being in social justice myself, it can be a lot, man. Because it's like every day you wake up, something else is going on, or sometimes it's 5 somethings. So what keeps you motivated to keep, on the grind, boots on ground, and pushing forward?
Well, as I said, my brother Andre Rosen was killed back in 2003, and it's unsolved. Before that, the first time I lost someone to gun violence was back in 87. That was my stepmom, and also in 85, and that was my grandfather. So even though I cared deeply about my grandfather and my stepmom, when my brother Andre was killed in 2003, it was like, whoa, this is real life, and something has to be done, because if not, we're all going to become extinct. So I started just reading up on it, started studying it, but at the same time, I'm grieving, I'm hurting, I'm trying to find answers to who murdered my brother. So that's really what keeps me going, because I didn't have anyone that stood up with me and my family and said, hey, we're here for you, let me fight with you. So over the years, I started realizing, I'm not in this by myself. There's other families and other people that are going through the exact same thing that me and my family are going through, and they need someone who's been through what they're going through, and they need that person to show up and help. So that motivates me every day to want to get up and help these families, because I didn't have anyone that was there for me, so I want to be there for them. And we show up at the crime scenes. We help with funeral arrangements. We do grief counseling. Like, we just want to be there for them, because a lot of times people have not been through anything of the sort. Even with the police violence, the gun violence, people have not been through this. So we show up and we say, hey, we've been where you're at. Let me tell you how we're making it. Let me tell you how we're dealing with it. And this is what you need to do. And just to see a smile on the family's faces when we show up, and now they have someone that they can call on 24/7 that's been through the same thing, that's really my motivation.
Yeah, I can definitely understand and relate. And like I said, you are highly appreciated. I know the people that you assist definitely appreciate everything that you and your organization and those that are involved are doing. So let us know, how can we reach out to these organizations? How can people tap in, link in, and keep connected when it comes to those efforts?
As far as the South Carolina chapter of Post, they can find us on Facebook. They can also visit our website, which is www.southcarolina.chapterofpost@strikinglead.com. They can also contact us at area code 864-360-6391. As far as the National Racial Justice Network, they can find us on Facebook at National Racial Justice Network. They can contact us at area code 864-230-3292, and they can find us on the web at www.racialjusticenetwork.org.
Okay, thanks for that. I'll make sure that I include those links, so they'll be hyperlinked so people can click on them.
That.
Yeah, for easy. We'll make things easy for people to work with. So I want to talk about our sister and Queen to the fight. She's definitely been out here.
Yes.
Sister Brittany Martin. I met her,
yes,
I want to say, I'm not really sure how long ago it was, and I don't even know how we crossed paths, but we were supposed to, obviously. I know that there's things. She's currently incarcerated. I've talked about it on my platform. You talk about it. There's others that are talking about it. But can you give a brief synopsis of what's going on with her that led to her incarceration and what's going on with it now?
Okay, the Queen's name is Brittany Martin, and right now she's a political prisoner. She's been held, of course, against her will in the South Carolina Department of Corrections down in Columbia, South Carolina at the CAMILLE Women's Institution. Brittany is a mother of 5, and she's also 5 months pregnant. Her baby is due this coming November the 26th. Back in 2020, Brittany Martin, she's a community activist. Just a little bit about her, but she's a community activist. She fights for the people. The same thing that I just said that I do for the community, that's the same thing that Brittany and her organization does for the community as well. And the name of her organization is called Mixed Sisters United. They fight for folks all over the world. Their headquarters is in Sumter, but they do fight for people all over the world. So back in the summer of 2020, Brittany and her organization, they were out protesting. They were protesting against the murder of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor. Mm-hmm. So during the protest, Brittany used a saying, and the saying was, "I'm willing to die for the black. Are you willing to die for the blue?" So they finished protesting. The protest ended, and the officers came out. They ended up giving Brittany and her crew, they gave them some tickets. Well, they said that they violated the curfew because during that time, it was a lot of demonstrations and protests going on. And so they was telling people that they needed to be in the house at a certain time. So they gave them tickets for curfew violation. Well, they ended up taking Brittany and a couple of her folks to jail for the curfew violation. She got out of jail. She went to the tow place because, of course, they towed her vehicle in. Right. They told her, she went to the tow place, and the police showed up. The police was there. They arrested her. They charged her with threatening the life of a public official. They charged her like 4 or 5 different charges of threatening the life of a public official. So that was in the summer of 2020. Moving forward, past May of 2022, Brittany, she went to court. She requested a trial, and she went to trial for these charges. So the trial started on a Monday. During the trial, the judge came forward, the solicitor came forward, and they said, "Hey, we got another charge, and it's called breach of peace, high aggravated." Well, for those of you who don't know, breach of peace, high aggravated is not even on the statutes in the state of South Carolina. Mm-hmm. So as far as the threatening the life of a public official, the jury found her, they couldn't come up with a verdict on that, so they ended that. She also had another charge of, I can't even remember what it is. It's so much going on, but just give me a second. I'll figure out what that was. Mm-hmm. So they found her not guilty on the other charges. The breach of peace, they explained to the jury, they said, "Hey, this is a charge, breach of peace." They didn't even say breach of peace, high aggravated, but they said this is breach of peace. They didn't tell the jury that it only carries 30 days and or a $500 fine. So, like I said, they found her not guilty on the threatening the life of a public official. So they said, "Hey, we got this charge that we had the grand jury to indict her on." So the jury found her guilty on breach of peace. Like I said, they didn't say breach of peace, high and aggravated, but they found her guilty on breach of peace. And the judge sentenced her to 4 years in prison. So basically, Brittany is a community activist, a civil rights activist, someone who fights for the rights of all people. Mm-hmm. And now she's a political prisoner in the Department of Correction because she was exercising her right to freedom of speech. Right. She was only out there protesting against the police killing of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor. So that's where we're at today. And I talk to Brittany just about every day. She's pregnant. She's in this prison. She had to leave behind her family, her sisters, her organization, and her children. And one of her sons was killed back in, I think it was in January of this year. Mm-hmm. So she's also being held against her will, but she's also dealing with the grief of losing her child.
Yes. Yeah. It's what's going on with her is absolutely ridiculous, especially when you have people that stormed the Capitol that went home.
Absolutely.
That went home with probation, slaps on the wrist. So there's no doubt in my mind that this happen at this type of accelerated, exaggerated rate because she does fight for us. And anytime someone fights for us, it's always a problem. How can people show support and help and, reach out?
The first thing they can do is we have a Facebook page. We try to keep everyone updated on the Facebook page, and it's called FreeBrittanyMartin, BrittanyMartin. So they can click on that to stay updated. We also have a letter campaign going on where we're asking everyone to write Brittany a letter while she's in prison, and also to send a letter to a different address where we'll take that to the upcoming court hearing. So if you go on the Free Brittany Martin website, if you go on the Free Brittany Martin Facebook page, you'll be able to get both of the addresses. We're also collecting funds for her legal defense because, as you know, this is not free, and we're taking in a entire legal defense team because we want to make sure that not only does this not happen, that this does not happen to Brittany, that she's released and expunged of all these charges, but we also want to make sure that this doesn't happen to anyone else, because we're out here as activists and we're protesting daily. So if we allow them to get by with this, what they've done to Brittany, this injustice, then they're going to continue to do this as well. So we have a cash app that's set up for her legal defense team, and it's the $ Free Brittany Martin. Everything is about Free Brittany Martin. So if you want to donate to her legal defense team, please send it through Cash App. It's the $ Free Brittany Martin. If you're posting anything about her, please make sure you use the hashtag Free Brittany Martin, and go on the Facebook page, which is also Free Brittany Martin.
All right, thanks for that. Please, I urge y'all to definitely reach out. This is someone that has stood up for many of us and many people without even a thought. So we definitely got to make sure that we band together for her. Is there anything else that you want to leave us with, Queen, and tell us about that we should know?
Well, we have an upcoming court date, and it's actually not a date because they may not have a hearing, but we did file a motion to reconsider. So we're requesting that the judge lets Brittany out of jail, or at least gives her time served. She's been in there since the middle of May, and when she was first arrested, they held her without a bond. So she was held without a bond for 21 days. She ended up getting out on the 28th day. So we feel like this is a grave injustice, and we cannot allow this to happen. So if you can just send letters of support, if you can send letters saying that Free Brittany Martin, we're going to turn all of this in to the judge, because Brittany needs to be home. And not only that, call to the South Carolina Department of Corrections, call to the Attorney General, call the Vice President of the United States, call the President of the United States. Like, we need help. We've been fighting for Brittany since May when she was first sentenced, but we need more help. We need more organizations to join us, because if this isn't just about Brittany, this is about each and every last one of them. We cannot allow them to get away with this injustice that they did to Brittany. And when I tell you, she's been mistreated so bad since she's in this prison. She calls every day. She even had an officer to hit her in the eye. They're giving her medical attention. She's been bleeding off and on for weeks now, and they're not doing anything to help. We don't want Brittany Martin to be another Sandra Bland. So I'm asking anyone to please contact me. And you can contact me on my personal cell. That's 864-360-6391, because we need to get Brittany Martin out of jail, and we need to make sure that this does not happen to any other activists in the world.